Probably let that go a little bit too long, but I really enjoy it. CFL Power Rankings for the week as we head into week 3. As we are recording this, week 3 is underway. So, timing a little bit off on my part, but we'll be all right. Let's go 9 through 1. One of the teams that's playing right now, the Edmonton Elks. They come in at number 9. The week off last week, they didn't leave a great impression on their way out the door in week 1, though. This is a reminder, and we'll talk about it in the picks here in a little bit. It's a reminder it's a young team. And it's a growing team, and it's a very young to the job head coach. So there's going to be growing pains with this team. I like a lot of the pieces they have, and I think they'll be contending for a playoff spot, in part because the East is dreadful, as you will find out in the next couple of teams. But I think the assumption that they were going to be great right away, maybe there was a little bit too much hype on that. So they get down at number 9. At 8, it's Toronto. It looks bad. And I get Chad Kelly is coming back maybe week 4 for this team, but they don't have the weapons offensively. They can't run the football. The offensive line is not awesome. And that defense has been burned in unique ways in back-to-back weeks. Now, one would say, oh, well, that means they haven't in the other way, which, cool. But it's not a good defense. They lost so many pieces off of the Grey Cup championship team from a year ago, and they did not replace them in any meaningful way. So this is just, quite frankly, is a bad football team that is going out there for Toronto on a weekly basis. Coming in at number 7, I have the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Ticats, I thought continuity was going to be a big thing for them coming into this season and an area of growth for this team. Instead, they look as new as everyone else does. There are passes from Bo Mitchell that are sailing over hands. When they're hitting hands, they're getting dropped. It looks so out of sync. And this defense that stepped up when Chris Jones came in as the defensive assistant last year, it hasn't looked great under Munson in a couple of weeks. And I think Munson's a good defensive coordinator, but I don't think he has a great roster to work with. And so again, this is a defense that continues to have trouble getting off of the field. And then when they do, they're not off of it for very long because their offense isn't doing anything. This is the team that is off to a slow start that I have the most confidence in bouncing back at some point. But holy hell, do they have a long way to bounce back from, because it is looking really bad. Coming in at number 6, it is the Calgary Stampeders. I am still probably a little bit too low on Calgary, coming off of a 2-0 start. It looks awesome. It really does. Like, Vernon Adams is lighting it up. Losing Reggie Begelton hurts quite a bit. But with Dominique Rhymes and 2 young receivers that look like they're blossoming, coming off of big games with Barnes and with Jalen Philpott, you can see where the potential is in this team. It's the defense that I'm worried about a little bit. They're playing great. Do not get me wrong, that they are playing some very good football, but they've played very good football against a Hamilton team that hasn't won yet and a Toronto team that hasn't won yet. Now, they've contributed to half of those losses for these teams, but I fear that when they play, with all due respect, good offenses, that defense may get exposed a little bit more. So I'm still being a little bit cautious when it comes to the defense for and the overall ranking for the Calgary Stampeders. Coming in at 5, it is the Ottawa Red Blacks. And there's an obvious why don't you flip these teams here with Ottawa and Calgary, given the start for both of these clubs. Ottawa, I still believe in the potential of what this offense can be. And part of Ottawa's issue is the injury at quarterback with Drew Brown going down with the injury. Schultz just didn't look good in week number 2. And that's kind of life of a backup quarterback in the Canadian Football League. But I like a lot what they have on offense. I think they need to refine the offensive play calling a touch, but I like what they have on offense. I do not like what they have on defense, and that is a concern for sure. But I think this will be a team that is still hanging around that number 2 seed in the East Division by the time we get to November. We're going to get to the top half of the power rankings here in just a second, but want to remind you, you can follow me on social media. Boy, I'm not liking how slow that's moving. You can follow me on social media. I am at Primetime Klein on Instagram, X, TikTok, everything out on the socials. Follow me at Primetime Klein. Yeah, we'll just hit the little eye thing on that, and we probably won't do that one again on the stream because that was concerning. So number 4, it's the BC Lions. Looked awesome against Edmonton, didn't look awesome against Winnipeg. I think that's going to be their life, is like Winnipeg is going to give them a very difficult time. Montreal is going to give them a very difficult time. Other than that, I think like Saskatchewan and them will be close. And then they will be better than everybody else in the Canadian Football League. Like that's who these guys are right now. But Nathan Rourke feels like he's back. Defensively, you're a little bit concerned about how Strevler had a good game against them, and how Winnipeg Winnipeg was able to move the ball on this team. You have concerns about that for sure. I do think they're going to be fine, though. It's a tough test for them again, though, this week. At 3, it is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, coming off of a win on week number 2 against a BC team that we are still a little bit like, okay, what are they? I still have questions about Winnipeg, for sure. I don't know if those questions get answered until November, to be perfectly honest with you. But I still do worry, and they have some injury problems too now, but I worry about where this team is at kind of long term, and seeing how this season kind of plays out. But so far, so good. Number 2, it's Saskatchewan. The Rough Riders off to a 2-0 start. It hasn't looked incredibly impressive at times, but when this team gets rolling, they look like the best team in the CFL. Offensively, it's so many weapons that they can spread that ball around to. Defensively, they got back to the ball hawking ways last week. They can force a ton of turnovers, and I think this defensive line, is really just kind of scratching the surface for how good they can be. So I think that there is a little bit of potential in here. I like the roster a lot, and we have seen them in both games so far play at a very, very high level and give the opposition quite a few problems. And at number 1, it's Montreal. They are so easily the most complete team in the Canadian Football League right now. This defense is smothering. The offense can beat you in so many different ways. I think you have to have Montreal as the best team in the Canadian Football League. So they stay number 1 in the power rankings for heading into week number 3. Deeds in the chat. While the Stampeders have played great, the offense is worrying with the fact Vernon Adams Jr. not throwing for a touchdown yet against not so strong defenses they have faced. I wouldn't look too much into that part of it. Do I think maybe some regression is coming for the offense? I mean, maybe. Like, no Bagleton is going to hurt that a lot. But he has been so electric in moving the ball down the field, and then it has just been rushing touchdowns or whatever. Those numbers are going to come. If we're 3 or 4 weeks from now and it's low and it's more interceptions than it is touchdown passes, then you start to worry. But right now, it looks good for them. So I don't really have many concerns about where this offense goes. I have a touch of a concern about how sustainable the running attack was, that they had a big week in week 1 and it already kind of fell off in week 2. We'll see how that continues to go. And I do think the passing game is going to suffer a bit without Reggie Bagleton. So we will see. There could be a bit of a drop off there offensively for this team. Absolutely, Deeds.